What is up, everybody? Today we are gonna work on trying to get the Honda Civic's Junkyard wheels looking a lot better, because if you take a closer look, you know, there's just a lot of little imperfections, some curb rash. This is actually relatively one of the cleaner wheels. Let's go back to this one. Yeah, you can see quite a bit of curb rash right there, and then on the faces and stuff there's a lot of curb rash. So what we're going to be doing today is, holy Lord almighty, what the I just noted, dude, that's wild. I don't even know what to say. But anyways, back to what we were talking about. Today we are going to be sanding down those wheels, and then I got the paint here. It's not the exact same color as this, but it's pretty darn close, and I don't know, I think this color looks pretty decent, so I'm gonna go with this. I like it on the red. But anyways, yeah, so we got an assortment of sanding sponges, sandpaper. We got some index cards to line across the edge of the wheel so we don't get overspray on the wheel. Face masks for protection, rubbing alcohol, and these little towels that, you know, don't give off much lint and stuff, so we can rub off the wheels to prep them before we paint, and make sure we got everything off. But we're gonna be, you know, sanding, getting it nice and sanded down, trying to get rid of as much of the curb rash as possible. And then once we get done with that, we're gonna go through, do a couple coats of primer. I'm not too sure exactly how much of all of these paint cans and whatnot we're gonna need to do all four wheels, but I just went for 2 of the color, 2 of the clear in the same brand, and then just 1 of this bigger can of primer for now, and just gonna see how much that, you know, will get done, or if it'll finish it and have some left over. I don't know, but I will keep y'all updated on that. But I guess we're about to get ready to take one of the wheels off and get ready to start sanding it down. Probably gonna start with one of the worst ones and just start there and get it knocked out. Wheel number 1 off, and as you saw, this is one of the rougher looking ones, so I'm gonna start off with sanding it first. Let's start off with this 400 sanding sponge and see what it does to these little curb rash sections. And for some of these deeper ones that might be harder to work out, I got an 80 grit, and I don't know if I'll use that or not, but we'll find out and see. But I'm gonna just start a time lapse and let y'all watch me try to sand this thing down. Well, it turns out that this takes a lot longer than I expected, because this is the current state of the wheel. It's, you know, it's sanded down, that's for sure. I'm wondering if this is good enough to go ahead and start doing the primer. I think it might be. I hit it with the the 80 grit in the really scuffed up places. Y'all saw that in the time lapse. And then for the most part, I did majority of the wheel in 400 grit. And then I just went over it a little bit more with 600 grit. And I do have 1,000 grit, but I mean, it's feeling pretty smooth. And I think that it would be good if we just went ahead and started primering it. But I don't know. I'm debating if I want to do that, but I've already spent a few hours on this one wheel just doing what I've done so far. So I'm gonna wipe it down and start laying down some primer, I guess. The wheel is wet because I decided that I wanted to go ahead and do some wet sanding. So that's why the wheel and the ground and everything is wet. Definitely helped out because it eliminates, you know, a lot of the dust, which is nice because you don't want to breathe in the dust. But I did have a t-shirt tied around my head and covering my nose and stuff because the face masks that I bought from AutoZone were not worth the crap. They didn't fit on my face snug at all, so don't get face mask from AutoZone. And sorry if I sound all stuffy. I am still getting over a cold. Y'all could probably hear it in the last video if y'all watched that one. My rubbing alcohol, my index cards, and my rags here that I'm going to use with the alcohol to get these prepped for primer. This alcohol just ensures that everything, all the contaminants are off the wheel, and it also evaporates quickly, which means you don't have to wait long for it to become dry. Well, change of plans, because I guess it decided it wanted to start sprinkling now. So that's great. But, you know, we're almost there for this wheel. So I'll show y'all. Hopefully, maybe it'll stop raining and we can do it today, or maybe we'll pick it back up tomorrow. I'm thinking maybe since the weather wants to be unpredictable and keeps sprinkling out of nowhere, I'm thinking maybe we just sand down this center cap. As you can see, it already looks a lot better than it did. For instance, for comparison, this one to that one, that's about what it looked like. I sanded this down with the 400 grit while I was doing the wheel. So I'm thinking maybe I continue to sand it down with some finer grits, work my way up, and then spray it with some clear and see how it turns out. I think I'm gonna start out with 600. Got a little thing of water here just to kind of wet sand it a little bit. Looking even a little bit better. I still see some of the haziness, so I'm gonna just keep going a little bit more. Hit it with 800 after I do the 600. It's looking pretty good, and I'm sure there are much easier ways to go about doing this, but it is what it is. It's how we gonna do it. Same thing with the wheels. I'm sure there's a lot easier way to sand them down than what I did. But hey, look, my first time doing this, just like a lot of things that I share on here with y'all, it's usually my first time doing it, so we learn it together. That's what we're looking like. All right, let's go ahead and wipe this down with some alcohol. There's a lot of alcohol. What the hell am I doing? Shake up our can. Looks good to me. Let's go ahead and spray this thing. 2 to 3 light coats and a heavier final coat. About 10 minutes between coats. Alright, it's been a few minutes, not quite 10, but I did a pretty light first coat, so it already looks dry. Go through and just it's looking pretty good already. Just let that cure for a little bit, and that really might be it, honestly. Might just take it in to the garage and let it be. I went through and added in one more super heavy coat of clear, and it's definitely looking a lot more glossy. Wait for that to dry and hopefully it'll look good. I've decided to go ahead and give this a try to get the primer down before the sun goes down, because we had a break in the clouds. Hey, dang flimsy. Okay, it's gonna work still. Nice. And I also found this little perfect tube that fits over the valve stem. I need to hurry up before we lose daylight. It's going fast. Don't leave me. I ain't ready yet. I don't think the shape of these wheels and this design makes it very easy to, 1, sand, 2, primer, paint, all of that, because there's so many angles and edges that you have to make sure that you sand and that you get paint in and primer in and all that. Now let's get our freaking primer, God, open. There we go. Put my little shirt over my nose and let's get to it. All right, shake this thing up good. We're gonna have to hit this from all different angles, but we're just gonna get a base coat down right now. For some reason, the GoPro decided to stop recording the other coats that I did. Well, I went to go reference a Chris Fix video, and he said you don't want to see any of the little imperfections that we were seeing before. So I kind of went back over and sprayed even more, and pretty much got the vast majority of all the little imperfections that you could see is now covered in primer. So we're good. We are good. I think I almost like the primer color against the red more than I liked the other color. So what I'm thinking about doing is just clear coating the primer. Well, I did decide to go ahead and just leave it primer colored and throw some clear coat on it. So this is what they're looking like. I personally think it looks pretty good. It's got a nice shimmer, and I think it's gonna go really great with the red. And then once we lower this car, it's gonna be so good. Pretty good. That's pretty cool. Nice. I like it. These wheels look a lot better in the sunlight when you get the clear actually reflecting. But no, that's good. I gotta clean this, dude. Like, that's just crazy. But I like that. A different kind of look. Let's see, that looks so good in the sun, with everything shining and reflecting. Oh, I'm happy with it. It looks good to me. Well, that's one half done. I think that's where I'm gonna leave off this video. I still gotta do the other half of the car, but y'all got the basic gist. You know, we just sanded down the wheels, then we primered, and then I decided instead of painting, I liked the primer color. So we went with primer color and just sprayed some few coats of clear coat on there the same way we applied the primer. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You want to get cheap wheels, go to a junkyard, find some pretty cool looking wheels like I did, and just restore them for yourself for pretty cheap. All of this stuff really wasn't all that expensive, so anyone could really do it. I maybe spent like $100 on supplies, and I didn't have sandpaper or anything, so it's just up to you on what you want to spend to do it and how good you want it to turn out. Anyways, I will see y'all later.